I wanted to get started on the Epstein files real quick. So as we were talking about earlier, Jeffrey Epstein, innocent. Finally,
He's been
finally the
absolved.
truth has come out.
Exonerated.
He was just...
It's a shame he killed himself. He was suffering. Check on your friends, folks.
Yeah.
All right, check on your depressed friends.
Check on your billionaire pedophile friends.
They just let him rot, and
Yeah.
he was. It was the guilt of knowing he was going down as an innocent man who never had sex with children or trafficked them.
And who had no leverage whatsoever. A guy who just, who had no, who didn't know anything about anybody. Who was really, when you think about it, perfectly disposable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you know?
Yeah.
What do you know?
I do love the argument that they're presenting now, though, which is that, no, you don't understand. He was like a fiend. Like, he loved doing pedophilia just for himself.
Just for him.
And like...
He had a whole island just to... He couldn't him in his townhouse.
And when he flew people, this is actually a big misconception. He wasn't flying people to chill with them. He was flying them to get them away from him.
Get him away.
Exactly.
So he could
big misconception.
Like, what's the
Well, those were all the heroes that might have stopped his pedophilia.
Yeah, why
Trump,
not
Chris
pedophilia?
Chris Tucker. They would have stopped. They were so stridently anti-pedophile.
But then
he needed them on an island so he could kids in America.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys don't know about that stuff.
He was in Palm Beach and Little
idiots.
St. James,
Yeah.
It was actually perfectly cool. That weird little room or whatever. Remember that with the gold dome or whatever?
Of course.
Actually, just a yoga room.
Just a place. Just
a
He's
place
a
to
spiritual
stretch.
guy.
Yeah.
But I do like the argument that they're presenting now, which is that he was the one who was just sexually abusing thousands of victims
with his little egg-shaped penis.
Yeah, and nobody else, make no mistake. After years and years of being there are hard drives, terabytes of footage of all of the blackmail that he had accrued over the years, but also simultaneously this implies that former Prime Minister of Israel Ehud Barak in 2016 was just visiting him because he's a chill guy.
He's a cool guy.
What the?
And he didn't know he was a pedophile. He was just he loves math because, as we all know, Epstein, one of the great mathematicians of our time. And, they were probably just talking about theorems and that kind of stuff.
One kid, two kid, three kid. No, I think with part of what I was actually in a Hulu documentary about Victoria's Secret.
Oh, hell yeah.
And my bit as a talking head was to talk about Epstein's relationship with the guy who owned Victoria's Secret, Les Wexner. And how essentially part of what one of the angles that the documentary took, and that Epstein was the counterparty. He was partners with and had transacted huge cumulatively seemingly in the billions of dollars of transactions, and it's all really murky. But they're with people who are Leon Black at Apollo, a very powerful person in the world of private equity. Les Wexner, who was the head of these the Limited, which owned Victoria's Secret and other stuff. And it's all right. So nobody's really good at talking about or understanding the extent of what his financial activities were that generated these things.
Yeah.
But he was just really good at trafficking kids for himself.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no connection there that he had all this income.
Well, he's probably just a really good day trader. You know, he probably just was smart.
He was probably early on E-Trade.
He was early on E-Trade.
He taught at Dalton, and he met really smart bros there. It was hey, tips.
Yeah, it's just a coincidence that he trafficked hundreds, if not thousands, of children, and that he, at the same time, through a completely separate way, made millions of dollars.
Yeah, no, that's just...
If you have thousands of individual victims that are children and young adults and whatnot going in and out of your homes, okay, and you also simultaneously are constantly engaging with some of the elite in society. At some point, they're gonna see the kids.
Right.
Nothing adds up.
Yeah.
In this story, and I like the idea that they're just trying to move away from this now. They're don't ask any questions. This is what I wanted to talk about because yesterday people started getting really frustrated because they have tuned up their audiences to basically really care about this for understandable reasons. I think it's an important story, but now they're basically going, oh, well, we're in power, and also some of our faves are implicated here. So
exactly.
Shut the fuck up.
Exactly right.
Well, I mean, I think ultimately though, it's not gonna. I wish it would matter. It doesn't fucking matter. They don't give a fuck.
I think this might actually cause a little bit of fissure in the Trump base.
I mean, I don't think by itself it does, but I think it does indicate that, like, for example, like, look, like most people who voted for Donald Trump, like, they probably even like Israel or whatever. I don't think that they signed up for, like, endless blood funnel.
Sure.
And, like, the same goes for, like, they didn't sign, like, they were, like, they all fell for it in different ways, but, like, I don't think any of them individually are going to be, like, the thing that breaks the dam in any meaningful way. But, like, over time, like, especially, like, once Trump goes...
Once
like,
Trump goes, it's all...
Exactly. Like, it just shows how shallow this is.
Yeah,
that,
that's definitely
none of
true.
this... Like, the most durable thing is, like... it's like this guy's big victories.
Yeah.
You know, on vaccines. Like, it's like
Which
that...
they don't even really give a
and
fuck
tariffs,
about.
and molesting the money and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this clearly was... I mean, you're right, because this is the one thing that kind of kept the... This is the one thing that unites everyone. Because it's like QAnon, it's like anti-establishment, it's like, whatever you want to say, everyone is... Anti-Semites, a big part of the base. It unites everybody, but I agree with you. It might not be... It's not enough on its own. I just feel like... I don't know, man. We've seen it. Nothing stops this.
It is, but it is like, I think part of like what it breeds, which is like, like Trump and right and like all those people, like they rose in response to like incredibly cynical times. Mm-hmm. They themselves, like the cynicism that they then practice is like having like the same effect on like the people who are like not politically of age yet, but who might otherwise be like raging conservative. To me, it's all just like part of like the gradual process of which like like an intellectually and like morally bankrupt thing like burns itself out. On evil or whatever it is, Like, I mean, to be reductive about it.
Felix has an alternative approach. Natalie Wynn, ContraPoint, says, people are really not familiar with the basic facts of the Epstein case. All the victims who testified at Maxwell's trial said they were trafficked to Epstein himself, who abused them with Maxwell's assistance. Okay? And Felix also doubles down and says, yup. Source of his wealth, he won the lottery every day. His extensive contacts in multiple governments, he met them randomly on Omegle. The internal JP Morgan emails, creepypasta.
Okay, so it's also like funny to like single out Ghislaine Maxwell there because like she radiates like a glow rod, like even more than he does in a lot of ways.
She's like a generational spy. Like she comes from like her father was the OSS. Like it's not like
what she's in jail right now?
Yeah. Also innocent.
Free her. She's innocent.
Also innocent. Well, Trump. Remember when she went to jail? Trump.
Well, I also remember
she's a fine lady. I've met her.
People forget about the interim period when like before like they arrested her or whatever when she was like in some random house in New England. With a younger like husband or partner who was some random like shipping company executive. It was all very. Life moves too fast sometimes, man.
Yeah.
This was like not that long ago, but it really does feel like a lifetime ago.
I know.
It's so bizarre.
And that story in particular, like this is the thing that made me understand how boomers feel about JFK. Because like, girl, it's a fun conspiracy as a young person, but like I wasn't around for it. It doesn't mean as much to me. Like it's watching the movies, it's fun. This is the thing where I'm like, he didn't kill himself, man. Like I'm here. I know how the world works, and I'm like, yes, I will be talking about this and sounding insane to my children. And
every media outlet is like, no, you don't understand. He was really sad.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't get it.
Well, it was the first time in his life he had gone even a couple days without child.
Yeah.
And you don't know the toll that takes on someone.
I mean, or it's like, look, like, let's say he did kill himself. Like, I've seen The Godfather.
Yeah,
I've seen, like, Robert Duvall talk to Frank Pentangeli and be like, just like the Romans.
Yeah.
Do like the Romans, Frank.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Hillary Clinton came in
just
the
idea, like, to me, it's just, like, there's no, because it's, like, also, like, Epstein, it's, like, what it gets at to me that's even more important than, like, contesting the weird-ass circumstances in which he died, which is that it's like there's all this like reported evidence about like him having like when they talk about the Epstein files, that's just like the right-wing media people doing like their vague stupid people thing of like mushing together a bunch of real things into like this mythical like singular thing that doesn't exist. But there were a bunch of files in his house when they raided it. There was a bunch of information, a bunch of labeled tapes, things like that people have been reported about, that have been reported on, that
cool
have been
paintings.
Sworn to. Yeah, some really
awesome paintings
of Bill Clinton.
George W. Bush with the Bill Clinton is the main one. People forget it. George Bush with the paper airplane. That's a good one too.
Also, like he was meeting with like
9/11.
He met with like Bill Burns before he became director of the CIA. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's like a very like, I don't think people are wrong. Even though I guess now it feels like passé just because of like how much has happened since then.
But that's the thing. As someone who doesn't follow, I don't give a that much. I don't follow this shit. I just know as a guy alive right now who was just in broad strokes following this shit, it's so clearly a conspiracy. And I will never let go of that shit.
They put him in the federal penitentiary with a roommate.
They tried him, remember? They tried him like a week before.
Yeah, Nicholas Tartaglio,
who
was like a corrupt cop who like executed a bunch of people, like roided out of his gills.
Yes.
So now we're doubting the integrity of law enforcement.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's where I got to stop you. I back the blue, Hasan.
Yeah.
Well, back Israel and back the blue. My man's doing full Hollywood.
It would be like, I do like the idea also of it's like, like this guy. He's only like probably the most famous person who's been in like the federal system at the time of like their entry. Like maybe in like
Kismet.
5 years, decades,
Kismet.
whatever. What if we just got him like a really good friend?
Yeah. No, it was
like a really cool guy.
Total random happenstance that he was in the cell and that he tried to kill himself the first time.
Same shit by the way with Whitey Bulger.
Oh, really?
Who was like, was also killed in like weird circumstances, and it's
wasn't Whitey Bulger
he was on the
killed
lam
by
forever.
like a QAnon guy or something? No, that was a different.
No, there was a mafia boss guy.
Yeah.
A guy on Long Island got by a random QAnon.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Sucks.
I mean, sorry to the mafia.
Sorry to the
but
sorry
prayers
we're in the
Costa
territory.
Nostra.
We're in the mafia
we're paying our
territory,
respects as well. But there was like kind of a comedy to like somebody being like poisoned by the QAnon virus.
Yeah.
And was like, who I'm gonna go kill? Like Polly's son.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wanna go pee real quick, but also I want to show Donald Trump's new response. This is very very not like Donald Trump.
Okay.
And I think you'll notice really quickly when they ask him.
Ooh.
Amidst a totally separate meeting, Donald Trump gets asked about Jeffrey Epstein. Here's his response.
And released yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, could I just interrupt for 1 second?
Oh, wow.
Are you still talking
takes
about
it.
Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind.
It's just like I'm like
I
in my
can't
head, I'm
believe
mentally
all
like
the
fading in the
Epstein.
photo of
That's
the photo of like
yeah.
him and Melania and him and Ghislaine, like just like whoa.
It's insane. Like him attempting, like, what? That's old news. That's fuck. I kind of respect him being like, let's just get ahead of this. Here's how we're dealing with this now.
I will say like he would like that's just
For sure.
like hand glove. Like
Yeah.
this is the most like like.
Stop bringing up old shit.
Yeah, like
literally
leave me
his
alone.
answer.
Look, we have all these dead girls. Like, hey, like, and stop. Don't ask me about the tariffs. Let's talk about the dead girls.
Incredible stuff, dude.
Lifetime TV ass president.
We have
it
all.
sucks.
What do you say? We have all these taxes and stuff, and you still want. And he called them a creep. Was there more to this
A
bullshit?
creep.
Some of the greatest success and also tragedy.
Yes.
Right, Texas. Yeah.
No,
We're having some of the greatest sex and also
Texas.
tragedy.
It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox,
No.
and it's been getting a lot of
sure we get a
attention
different chair? I
because
recall.
I said, I was asked a
Yeah,
question
he can have the
about
hotel staff
client list,
beaten for
and
not
my
having
response
chairs.
was,
Well, could I sit on one of the
It's-
hotel staff?
Yeah, okay. You want me to call him up? Say no more.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I-
that's crazy.
I love the idea that Donald Trump, of all people, is like, I never talk about irrelevant things. Eyes on the prize, everybody.
dude.
Lock in. Like, this will have like a leader of a foreign state sit there as he talks about how Joe Biden shit in his diapers.
How good the fish fillet is.
About whatever the is on his mind. But God forbid someone asks about Jeffrey Epstein. He's like, whoa, guys, bridge too far.
It's
okay.
I mean,
also, by the way, like, they're talking about it because the Justice Department just released a thing. His government just did a thing.
Yeah.
It's
like,
not
I don't.
relevant.
What I.
But that's why he's.
It's also. It's like. I mean, it's funny as. Like, it can't be denied, and I don't think that he's doing himself any favors.
At the end, he spent 20 minutes talking about the decorations inside the cabinet meeting. Yeah, he literally spends like an insane amount of time talking about the 2 polls that he put up.
Listen. Can I talk for a minute about this thing I want us to not talk about? Excuse me. Can I do that? Can I just do that as the president of the goddamn United States? Yeah, it's awesome. I love living with like the dumbest people in charge.
Reminder that the question wasn't directed. Interrupting a question directed at someone else with, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, is perhaps one of the worst eyebrow-raising ways Trump could... I didn't even realize he was asking someone else.
Yeah, they were asking for...
Pam Bondi. Who,
Sitting on my desk.
Yeah, who also Attorney General of Florida, while Jeffrey Epstein was, very much alive and operating in the state of Florida.
Hell yeah.
As well. Didn't do anything.
And and look who's right between them.
Yeah.
Little Marco.
Client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day.
Who was in the
to him being an agent,
and by the, I
have
also
no
like
knowledge
this
about
now.
that. We can get back to you on that.
If you're asking questions, that's because you want child porn released.
Yeah,
you fucking pervs.
It's like, we, like...
I'm sorry you're asking me about this child rapist, you pervert,
like
sicko.
It's like,
I bet you want to see it. That's what it is. It's like, no, dude.
Is it heads of state doing in the child porn? Like, that's the question.
I mean, the way they're going about this also definitely confirms that it is heads of state
for sure.
Where they're like, I jokingly used to say like, well, they worked really hard on it. You know what I mean? Like the intelligence community worked really hard to do this blackmail pedophilia operation. They're not gonna just like leak it for no reason, you know what I mean?
Also, like, look, like, if it turns out that, like, a bunch of the people in it are, like, maybe the leaders of, like, a foreign nation currently engaged in a genocide that we're supporting, then, like, maybe that's not for the best.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who can say?
Well, isn't the, like, one, people, he worked for the Mossad or whatever, which is so funny if it ended up being, if the people he was working for were like, you know what? I'm just going to go a couple kids. Even though this is what we used to blackmail other people. I just can't help myself. I'm gonna go over.
Well, I think it's
right there.
It is definitely to me a case of like, like, and it is kind of like a principle in espionage, which is like, prove to me you're not a pussy. Like, have sex with this child. And it's like he's the kingpin of that. That's why he's thus the most untrustworthy guy of all time.
Yeah.
I think about it, and it's like, in my mind, the only guy who's not implicated in this is Netanyahu, because like they just couldn't handle how his vibes were, so they never invited him to the parties.
Yeah. Also, he's like kind of domed by his wife in a very entertaining way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so he gets pegged.
So his wife is a flight attendant who like just was like determined, like, I'm gonna marry you, and then and she's like famous for like abusing house staff, like it's a tabloid fixture thing. They're like
That's
crazy corrupt.
They're bad. She's a bad person.
Yeah,
shocking. Family.
But also, one of the funniest things that they do is they bring laundry every time to the White House. Have you heard about this?
What?
It sounds like an anti-Semitic canard.
They do laundry at the White House?
They bring their dirty laundry to the White House every time.
What? Is that... What do you mean? Who told you that?
It was in, I think, like a Politico story. Or it was somewhere. But it was reported. Like, it's not...
Awesome.
It's unfortunately not something that, like, David Duke made up.
Yeah.
I really, like, I'm kind of pissed about that.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, dude, this is from The Guardian. Like, that's how you know this shit is, like... It's not, like, even New York Post. It's
a
The
lot
Guardian.
of this also, it's, like, kind of also... It points to something else about these two, which is that, like, they own a lot of property. Or even if they don't own it, like... Essentially, like, their son, like, their fail son, was just, like, he was in Miami and forever.
Yeah, Netanyahu is from, like, Philly, the Philly suburbs.
Yeah, like, they spend a lot of time outside of it, of, like, Israel and are, like...
What's his real name? He changed his name to Netanyahu. It's, like, some
here's
regular
my favorite Netanyahu fact. My favorite Netanyahu fact, he likes to dip cigars in Cointreau.
What?
What's Cointreau?
What the fuck?
Like liquor.
Like, are they cigar? Like,
I don't know. I read it. I think it was in that
That's so
detail is
weird.
from BB by Anshel Pfeffer, if I'm not mistaken. From that book is where I got that one.
Interesting.
But like I've like thought about that because like that's insane.
Why? To make his own flavored cigars?
I
To
think
make his own like cigarillos?
No, because he's a Philly boy. He wants black and milds.
Yeah.
But
needs
he's too
Dutch
highbrow.
Masters.
He's too highbrow for the black and milds.
We can't get the technology in Israel. Gazans, they're no Philly blunts.
That pisses him off. That is fucking gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, not a good guy when you think about it. But there was also there's a lot of internal strife amongst like the conspiracy right though currently about this situation, because this is something that they stake their reputation on, right? Like the idea that it's like only Hillary Clinton was doing pedophilia,
Right,
and Bill Clinton,
And
which by the way they definitely were,
Yeah, Bill
allegedly.
was on there.
Yeah.
Trump and Bill were hanging out, having fish fillets on the way.
Yeah. So now there's like a lot of animosity growing against these guys because this is the one thing that they do actually care about. So Alex Jones is on like a total copium trip.
Oh, it's awesome. It's special.
What's he up to?
Yesterday, Alex Jones came out and did one of his like fat guy in the car videos, and he almost cried. He was on the verge of tears, saying that he believes Donald Trump is doing this because he's blackmailing the blackmailers.
He's a white hat.
He now has the blackmail, the pedophilia blackmail, and he's using it against the deep state.
We now just have Q out in the open. That's all this is. It's literally just like, all right, so Q used to have like this pretense of like, like there's like this guy leaving messages on 4chan or whatever. Now, like, you can just have it under your own name and be like, oh yeah, Donald Trump is white hatting it now. And that's like part of the party line. Like that's like within a standard deviation of like what like the Republican like party itself is saying.
Oh my God. Okay, so Gunther Eagleman. He's like one of these like right wing Twitter guys.
Is he a Nazi? It's a Nazi
I guess
name.
I'm blocked by him.
Oh, he looks.
This guy.
Is he Jewish? He looks Jew. Is he from New York?
His name is Gunther. His name is Gunther Eagleman. Okay. But in any case, he says, I would have never thought our government would just allow people to rape children on Epstein's Island and just let it slide. It's not okay. To which immediately the blue check marks are like, are you really going to let Epstein be the deal breaker for Trump for you? Well, then why do you fucking hate Hillary Clinton?
Yeah.
Why do you hate Bill Clinton?
There was a tweet going around I saw that was like one guy like was going on and like he had like he wrote a whole fucking essay as blue checks do, and at the end of it he was like, just move on.
Yeah. He was like,
move on.
Move
saying,
on is so good.
He was saying like, we all know he's a little bit of a pedophile.
Look, it's okay. Look, it's not perfect that he's a bit of a pedophile.
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
That tweet was so good.
And then Vincent, so just how would you prosecute if the evidence was destroyed by raising DC? And then the funniest response, oh no, it's not a response, it's Elon Musk. Never mind.
It's an ad.
The Elon Musk doing an ad for his own tweet on his own fucking website. They arrested and killed Peanut, but have not even tried to file charges against anyone on the Epstein client list. Government is deeply broken. He thought this was a banger that he fucking made an ad out of it. Dude.
I hate him so much, dude.
Who the fuck is Peanut?
There was a one fucking...
I hate him.
He was some
Peanut?
OnlyFans guy who had a squirrel that like animal services like
right before the election, and it was like a right-wing meme about how like
thing?
like libs are gonna kill if you have like a squirrel.
I do remember that. But
Which, by the way, is like crazy now that like this is like the discourse, like again as like fucking like the was it like ICE guys? Who were the fucking people in LA today? Yesterday in the park.
The military. There was I think
the National Guard.
The National Guard. Yeah, they were doing a show of force.
So he's literally just like re-microwaving shitty memes from before the election.
What? Oh, Ben Shapiro believes Epstein killed himself, didn't run a blackmail operation.
Wait, sorry, hold on. Blackmail, yeah.
Not the smartest guys.
Oh my god.
Not the smartest guys. I mean,
And wild cherry Pepsi in my bag.
Ooh.
hedged their bets. People who never at any point suggested to you that they don't have data to back up the speculation, that the speculation was in and of itself
So gay, man.
the conclusion that if you speculate without evidence, that amounts to an actual conclusion to an investigation, they're going to be very upset today because it turns out that the DOJ and the FBI have concluded that Epstein didn't have a client list and died by suicide. According.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Nothing to see here. I guess now we trust the government. I don't understand.
Well, isn't he getting kind of worked
Why does he look
over
like
by-
he's in a
done. He's
motherfucking
done.
Yeah.
Yankee Candle commercial?
He's partially done because like people. Well, he's done because he's Jewish.
Yeah.
First of all, they're like, I don't think people understand how much like the independent media side of right-wing news and broadcasting has moved on from like
No, they're
the
purely
old-
and openly anti-Semitic.
Yeah. They went from like if you're under the age of like 40 and you're right wing, you're probably a vicious anti-Semite.
It's crazy.
So across the board, they're like, oh, small hat guy defending Israel again. Like that's
Yeah.
his entire fucking comment section is like that. And then also part of that is because. Like I think Asmongold just like took over that space for him, where people were just like, I don't want this like nerdy shit. I want a guy that looks like me,
Right.
that I
A
can
cool
smell,
guy like Asmongold.
smell through the camera, and not this like nerdy shit.
That
Like, I don't-
actually is like why people don't understand this. Everybody's like, "Wow, how did Asmongold, the most like beautiful, wonderful guy of all time, become like this like major internet sensation?" What they don't understand
There's
that,
a lot of guys like that.
No, is that he did smell through the screen, which nobody ever did before. And that's like a fucking like breakthrough in the medium.
Yeah.
That like your fucking lazy ass could learn a
Yeah.
thing
Guys,
or two.
you don't have to be
Olfactory.
like that,
You can
guys.
smell his ass.
You don't
And
have to be
that's,
like that. I mean, yeah.
That should be applauded.
Olfactory is a new sensation for a lot of people.
Listen,
But
your
Asmongold
agent, your
doesn't get-
management's going to be calling you about this and being like, "Why aren't you up on this like
Yeah.
tomorrow?"
Does Asmongold get pussy, or there are disgusting whores that fuck him?
There are, I think, at a certain point, there were women that had sex with him. I don't know. I don't know what he's up to in his private life.
That's just not
any
the
longer.
way. That's just not the way, fellas. Like if you're an incel out there, don't go down that route.
What do you?
Do not go the Asmongold route, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't-
they're already there.
You gotta get out. You gotta
Get out of the house, dude.
You gotta get out.
Get out of the house, even if it's like really hot out right now. It is. It's actually good for you. Sweat it out.
Cut your hair. It'll be fine, man. Take a
Bring a
shower.
memo detailing the findings obtained by Axios. Now, again,
Cetaphil.
does this
face
put to
wash.
bed like all inquiries? Of course not. People can continue to speculate as much as they want. And I think there's still open questions here regarding how did Epstein make his money?
Sure.
And that's a very serious open question. The speculation
the
for a
only
long
thing.
time
But
was
it's
he made
not
his money from
anything
blackmail.
illicit.
But the DOJ and the FBI, again, run by people like Dan Bongino and Kash Patel.
Yeah, saying I love that these guys think that anyone gives a fuck
What's up
about
with his
Dan
eyebrows?
Bongino
I know, they're
or
thick as
Kash
fuck.
Patel.
Yeah, it's like he's like I need my shoe polish.
Eyebrows thicker than his sister's titties, if you ask me. What's up with her? She's still putting out content? Let's react to his sister.
Classically Abby.
Oh, dude. I mean, she's the goat. Yeah. She's the method. She was so much the goat that, like, they literally found Femme Shapiro in a vat and then made her.
I know. What's up with that girl? Why, how is she? She's exactly like Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, but she's like, she
I
was
kind of-
popping off, and
is
she
she
left.
sti-
She left the Daily Wire after
Is-
she started popping off.
I was gonna say I feel like I never got the sense that her heart was in it, which is why she did like really boring like she wasn't about.
Is she not a political
look like
bitch?
you have to,
No, she is.
no, but you have to be good at race war. Like you need to get your war paint on.
Is she not racist enough? Is that what you're saying?
I think she. Look, I don't know. I
know
think
she's a failed actress. And a
as
young
far as I
conservative.
know, she's like got the spirit to compete. Okay.
Okay.
But it's just that like, or she like she gets like what it's about. But she doesn't have the spirit. She just doesn't have the spirit to compete.
Oh, she
She's
doesn't have
withdrawn.
the spirit. Okay.
But
Interesting.
she she sees the game. Maybe she's like playing in a support role now.